So we're going to be talking about the initial stage of group, which probably feels a little backwards after you've just recorded your video. But that's just how this class is conducted, because if we don't if we don't have you record your videos early on, it just gets very it is a time consuming assignment, like you all have realized. And so the initial stage is the beginning stage. It's where people are getting to know each other. We're still navigating maybe group rules, trying to understand what risks we're taking, the depths that we're going to go. There's still the trust versus mistrust here. We're trying to build that, and so that's time consuming, and it's a whole process in itself. And oftentimes people don't trust people right away for various reasons, and so it's just a lot of that kind of building that happens at the beginning, which is something you might have felt a little bit even in your role play group, right? Like people don't feel super comfortable when they don't really know someone to share very deep and meaningful things. And so there can be some anxiety, concern about judgment. Nobody wants to feel stupid. That sometimes can be very triggering for people, that fear. Struggles with communicating thoughts over feelings, things of that nature. Again, sometimes this could be someone's first group experience. And so they are just a little nervous and uncertain. And so this initial season of group is where you're really breaking in the people, trying to give them the information they need so that you can educate them as best as you can. As the leader, you want to make sure that you are honest and you are respectful. You are the one that is like the ringleader of establishing trust. And so you want to make sure like you're modeling, sorry, it feels a little dim in here. You're the one that's modeling how to do that, and show your own personal investment in the group, right? We want to have obviously like those good therapeutic skills of like active listening, reframing. We want to have unconditional regard, empathy, care, respect. We want to confront in a way where we're not trying to make anyone feel stupid or just be critical, but we want to be honest about things that we need to be honest about. And that is something that you can do with clients. You can be honest and share with them like your feelings about like difficult situations. That's not a problem. Um, and and again, we want to confront in a way where we are modeling how people could confront not only maybe people in the group, but confront other people in their personal lives. Um, so we want to be able to have people identify what the goals are of the group, making sure everybody's on the same page. It's a collaborative process. Group in general is very collaborative. And so we want to have an attitude of collaboration, open-mindedness, making sure we have a clear understanding of what our purpose and goals are. Now, if you're going over a curriculum, that might be a little bit more established. If you're kind of a process group, that may not be as established, but the group in itself can establish that. So involves the stages group tend to go through. Tension and conflict may build up in the group process concepts at the initial stage. So we could have some sort of activities, kind of icebreakers, figuring out ways to solve problems, learning, expressing conflicts openly. You might even get to know people's learning style better. This can all happen in the initial stage, as again, we're really formulating like the foundation of the group and how kind of setting the tone of how it's going to go as group continues. If we don't nip problems in the bud, like from the beginning, they're going to carry on throughout, and that's going to get in the way of trust building and things of that nature. So you want to make sure that if you're having some problematic people, you're handling it early on so that one, the group doesn't get stunted as a result of some people and the way they are, but two, that we are showing people that we are controlling the group, that we are mindful, and we're handling things as we should. Next up, we're going to talk about the transition phase of group. And so sometimes there can be some unwillingness to disclose. There can be some struggles. Groups are often characterized by a various pattern of problematic behavior, which we can see This is where we could have some anxiety, some defensiveness, some testing of the leader. Now we're not new, we're getting more comfortable, and now maybe some core things about me are coming out to the surface and are ugly and just need to be dealt with, right? And so um this is where we could have some really huge development in how to have hard conversations or how to talk about hard things. The leader can be pushed to really prove themselves by certain group members. So it can be kind of a difficult time in a group. As you'll see when you run your own personal groups eventually, you'll see the challenges just with dealing with some difficult people. And it's, a lot of times difficult people are difficult for reasons, right? It's because of their own life experiences, something that's happened to them, so on and so forth. But being able to really address those things and model like good behavior and model how we correct someone and model how we maybe hear someone say something, we reframe it in a better way can be huge. And can really be a really big learning tool in someone's personal development. You can have people have some resistance. They're unwilling to initiate personal, meaningful work, deny they have problems or concerns, be unwilling to deal with conflict, hide behind global statements. You have people that are being flaky, aren't showing up on time, not showing that they have the right commitment. People are fearful often in group of making a fool of themselves, losing control, being too emotional. People can be fearful of being too emotional. They don't want to self-disclose. They don't want to be the one dominating the group. I feel like that sometimes when I'm in groups, like I don't want to be the one that's always talking or always giving input. So you get people that are fearful of that. And it's usually because there's someone in the group who's talking too much or dominating or oversharing, which is super annoying. If you've ever been in a group with someone like that, you get annoyed. And so you don't want to be that person. And that's where the group leader has to kind of, and again, in that initial phase, kind of figure out a kind, nice way to like rein that in, because it will keep happening, right? People are people and they're just going to keep doing what they think is best because that's all they know, And so the group leader has to really confront that. So having rational confrontation with someone, confront if you care about the other person, talk more about yourself than the other person, avoid dogmatic statements and give others space to reflect on what you say to them. You may want to obviously too, depending on the nature of what needs to be addressed, like you're not going to embarrass anyone or try to call them out in a way that belittles them or makes them feel small. We want to be respectful of that. Avoid responding with sarcasm. We want to not be defensive. It's not personal. Not be so like, this is how you are. Like you might want to be a little tentative and saying, this is what I'm experiencing when you're talking, those kinds of things. Trying again, like to not take it personal, because then you get more defensive and you're the one leading the group. And so we want to just demonstrate how to not be defensive. We're not going to yell back if someone raises their voice. We really have to be a really good example. So someone who's taking over, these are problematic behaviors: storytelling, questioning, giving advice, dependency, offering pseudo support, hostile, acting superior, socializing when they're not supposed to be. Then maybe someone in the group feels very good at their abilities and they just assume themselves the assistant group leader, which is not the point of group, because they are there in group because they need group. So these are all things that you could address and have to deal with in this transitional type phase. Many interventions can facilitate working with challenging group members. Leaders' response should provide encouragement for members to stay more rather than stopping at the point of initial resistance. Questions should be open-ended and presented in an invitational manner. We're not accusing people of things. We want feedback. We want conversation. When an entire group chooses not to work and is unwilling to deal with several hidden agendas, it is important to address what is going on, bring to surface the hidden agendas, and refuse to give up. Not indulge in feelings of frustration and annoyance. Like, don't give in to those feelings, because that may make you want to quit or give up, or feel like you just lost. Like, I'm losing to these people. Like, I don't know if there's a way to get the group back, things of that nature. So co-leader issues, right? So dealing with problematic behavior, dealing with countertransference, challenges with both leaders that are not getting along, or maybe one person is seen as the problematic person and that person is getting more of that kind of attention, which could cause issues amongst leaders or one leader in the group. Trying again to address things as soon as possible. I think that's the main thing is in group. Like if we allow things to go on too long, especially if a group is not a long group, the depth of the group is really going to be limited because the issues aren't being addressed. And that's where it's so important to not be fearful to address hard conversations. Now, I know you guys, I'm going to be watching your videos and I know it's going to be a bit time consuming. So I'm going to try to get through them as quickly and as respectfully as I can. You guys have your paper that's due the following week, this next week, week 5. So there's a lot going on. It's just a reflection paper of how you felt like you did running the group. So I know you're working hard and you're doing all the things and we're getting there. We are already on week 5, which is wild to me. We are over halfway done and you're almost halfway done with your first summer session. So it's so exciting. Congratulations. If you have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to email me, reach out to me. I hope this is helpful and we'll talk soon.